Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at a very popular programming question, which is write a function that counts how many times a substring occurs in a string. Now this question is a very interesting one because it's a brain teaser. First of all, the first time I encountered this question, I was like, how am I going to go about this? Because prior to this, I had solved a question that counted the number of times a string, that is a letter, occurred in a string. Okay, so now when you have a substring in a string, the way you approach it is kind of different. So first of all, we create a function called the function count. All right, now that function will take in two parameters, which is the substring and the string that we want to loop it through. Okay, next we create a counter to count the number of times the substring occurs, and we set that counter to 0. Now we create a loop. The first thing we're going to do is we create a loop that will loop through our string for the length of that string. Okay, so we'll say for I in range of the length of the string, because we want our loop to run as long as whatever string is imputed. So we'll say for I in range of the length of that string. Okay, now we say that if now we are going to create a slice. We discussed string slicing in our previous lecture on the crash course in Python. So we're going to say that if string, then the slice from I, okay, to the length of our substring, to the length of our substring plus I, okay, is equals to the substring we are looking for, okay, then counter will increase the value of counter plus equals to 1. All right, then finally we say return counter. All right, so now we have some tests here to check if our code runs correctly. So I'll copy this text, put it in a print. Now, if everything results to true, then we know that our program is correct. So let's run it. All right, so everything comes out to true. So the program is correct. But rather than the program just being correct, I want us to understand why it works. Okay, the reason why it works is that every time we go through the loop, okay, the value of I, okay, so at the first iteration, the value of I is 0. So it will check from 0 to the length of the substring. Now, taking IS in Mississippi, for example, the length of the substring, so from 0 to the length of the substring, which is 2 plus I, which is 2 plus 0. So it's going to slice from 0 to index 2. Now, 0 to index 2 is MI. It will check, is MI equals to the substring IS? If it is not, if it is equals to, it will add, but MI is not equals to IS, so it skips. Okay, and reiterates the loop. So the next one is for if I is at index 1. Okay, so index 1 colon the length of the substring, which is 2 plus I, that is index 1 to 3, and index 1 to 3 is the next is here. Okay, and this is equals to this is, so it adds 1 to the counter, and it keeps on going through the string until it exhausts every letter in the string, because we said we should run it until the length of the substring. So thank you very much, and I hope you learned a lot, because this is a very tricky programming question, and it's one we tend to see even in programming interviews. Thank you. Have a nice day.